You're watching CoastLife with Leah Rizzo and Charlie Sakaitis.
You know, CoastLife fam, a funny thing happened while I was talking to our showrunner, Annie, this week. She wanted to do a thing about what your favorite kind of firework is, and I was like, I don't know what the different kinds are called. I don't know, the one that goes, like, zzz,
I like that,
that's about the extent of what I know. And she goes, what, they don't have fireworks in Alaska? And I had to look back at her and tell her, no, they don't. Not on the 4th of July anyway. We do on New Year's, but during the middle of the summer in Alaska, it's still bright out. You can't really see them. I mean, people will fire a few of them off, but it's not like there's a big fireworks show usually, or there's not that many of them because it's not that dark. It's not great to see.
That's
so
crazy.
A little bit different out here. I actually get to enjoy 4th of July fireworks.
Oh, I never would have thought about that, but that's such an interesting point. You learn something new every day that I wouldn't have considered, that it's not dark enough this time of year.
Especially the further you go north. So like you can do it a little bit in Anchorage. You get up to Fairbanks, I mean, it looks like it's noon.
Oh, I don't know that I can do that. The whole switch.
I love it.
I mean, I think like the week in the day, or like the months in the daylight, but then the flip side,
the
months of
darkness is awful and cold, but in the summer you're like, this is amazing.
I don't have an ounce of vampirism in me. Like I would be a terrible vampire because I'm like,
that seasonal affective disorder comes for us all.
First thing I do, step outside in the sun, and I'd be like, bye. But but we were talking about, fireworks, 4th of July, some of our favorite things to do for the 4th of July. Like, do you get all dressed up? Do you go all out? As far as favorite fireworks go, I also can't say I know for sure like what they're all called, but I do like the really big weeping willow looking ones sometimes.
Yeah, it's got a big explosion, and then it just kind of like
and then some of the really like twirly whirly, like Doctor Strange looking ones.
Yeah.
I saw some of those. I went to the ice cream festival over the weekend. I got to see some really good fireworks.
Literally my limited knowledge is I can name the sparkler.
Yeah.
Which, as I've learned now, is not even the safest thing in the world. Those can burn kids and stuff. Be careful. But
America.
but I like the big fireworks. I like a good show. You see them. A really good finale will get you. I always love that.
Yeah, sparklers are kind of fun because I feel like we never really. Again, because they're not necessarily the safest. We didn't really use them a lot as kids. So like as an adult, I've been like, can we have sparklers? Like, are sparklers going to be there? Because I just think they're really fun and very, very whimsical. But we definitely did like the scaled down, the fireworks that you'd buy at the stand, and you set them off with your family, and your somewhat intoxicated uncle is standing there going like, you run up and light the firework, and you're like, okay, like this.
Yeah, I got a lot of family from Kentucky, so I've seen that play before.
But it was so much fun. But do you go all out for 4th of July here while you can enjoy the fireworks?
I got to last year. Last year I did it out on a boat. My wife and I went out on a cruise thing where you could see the fireworks. That was really fun. I'm not sure which of the many places we're going to go this year. I got to peruse the Coast TV information on coasttv.com right now. We have an article up that tells you where you can get all the different firework displays. Couple things to remember though. Always important to be safe with fireworks, especially going back to if there's kids around, make sure you're safe. We don't need anybody going to the hospital.
Maybe don't let your intoxicated uncle light the fireworks.
I know people that have had to go to the hospital after a bad fireworks situation. So that's something that you want to be careful about. And also remember, if you have pets, it's probably going to be a rough weekend for them. If you've got dogs, cats, they might get scared by the big booms and bangs. Make sure you have a plan for them if your dog or cat is skittish, because you don't want them running away because they've heard all of that. So either have to keep them in the house or in a specific room, however, or tied up so that they don't take off when they hear all that.
Yeah, don't bring them to the fireworks show with you. I think that's probably going to be the best bet to make sure you don't get a runner on you, and maybe walk them, early in the day a couple of times before the fireworks show set in, and so that way, like by the time fireworks are going off, you can keep all doors closed in the house, so you got no escapees on the 4th of July. But also that kind of made me think too, I've also seen a lot more drone shows pop up as an alternative to fireworks because they don't disturb the birds, the bugs, the pets, all of the things that, we love fireworks, but they do a number on some of our favorite animal
Yes.
friends. But have you ever seen a drone show?
So I've seen a lot of videos of them. I haven't seen like a really good drone show in person. I would like to, because they can do things with the drones that you obviously cannot do with the fireworks. But what I've also seen recently, and this doesn't help the pets and the ecology part of it, but what I've started to see is a little combination of the two, where they'll have some of the fireworks and then they'll do something fun with the drones, which I like because I do think that explosive, propulsive feeling does add to a fireworks show. That's what's great about the finale, is you can
Feel the bass in your
the
chest.
bass.
Yeah.
It's like back in the 90s when we had all the subwoofers in the back of the car. You can just kind of feel that chest pound. And so they can do some of the cooler, like, flying eagle drone thing comes through, but then you get some of the explosions.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how drone shows will continue to change and advance and evolve. I mean, like, I'm not really a big fan of the band Fish, but I have seen videos of their concerts, and like the drones are incredible. Like, there's a whole whale flying by.
What they can do now is insane.
It's amazing.
And I think if you pair that up with some music or some sound, then it can add some of that
really
same
stunning.
propulsiveness that we were talking about with the fireworks. So I think that there is a new generation upon us when it comes to how all these things are celebrated.
For sure. It's all pretty cool. But we do have some more Coast Life. That's also pretty cool, and it's coming your way.